For those who competed decades ago, speeding down highways, through towns, country roads. For those who sat watching on the sides of the street, who found solace in chaos and thunderous speed. Even for those who grew up without the sights and the sounds, and live without race cars shaking the ground. Who don't understand why racing appeals to our fascination, wonder, and the way that we feel. A purpose-built place to camp and spend time with friends, watching racing together until darkness descends. Though no longer do the streets rumble and roar, there's a place just for this, a park to explore.
A road racing circuit before the assault. The 4 twisting, beautiful miles at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For 6 brutal, ear-shattering hours, its serenity will be violated by the raw power of screaming racing machines. It's the famed end-of-season endurance classic, the Road America 500. The specially constructed race circuit at Elkhart Lake at normal speed is a scenic 4-mile drive through fall-tinted Wisconsin countryside.
Hidden by forests near Elkhart Lake, not a path nor a trail, but a road meant to race. In a town too quiet, the refuge we seek, Road America, the racetrack, the National Park of Speed.
See, it's getting darker and darker, and there's just no way right now for these drivers to know exactly what's going to happen.
These guys are going to have to be really, really careful and tiptoe around the track until it's either not even 10 minutes into this race, and I feel like we've got enough strategy going on for a whole event, but still a long, long way to go.
There's Yellowstone, there's Yosemite, but for racing fans and for Grid Life's Elkhart Classic, the destination is Road America, the National Park of Speed.
Free ride in the front of the field here. Look at the wheel tab up the inside for the race lead. We head down to the first corner.
Have no idea what they're coming into. Look at this field. They're 2 wide, 3 wide, a couple places slipping.
Side by side for the race lead. 54, 48 through 3 and 4. Working lap number 60, 110 laps to go. Yusuf Ghali power move to the bottom of the racetrack, making the short way work. They're going to touch down the hill. This will be a great run for Fuller here.
Yes, if we go ran off the track in the final quarter of that lap 4 to get a massive.
Here he comes.
Does he have a look?
Oh, big block here by Sanfilippo. Into the grass goes Ben Fuller toward turn 1. And Sanfilippo hangs on. He's loose. No! And he crashes hard in the exit of turn number 2. Don't try him here, boys. They're going to do it. Briscoe backs out. They touch. They're going to crash. Briscoe going to slam the attenuator hard into the wall. And Sarah Teston hits him as well. And big damage on these cars. That's huge.
Number 4, people are struggling for grip, going out of every single lane view, trying to make a run. It's getting really insane.
Powered by AWS for the Intercontinental GT Challenge, powered by Pirelli at the Indianapolis 8-hour. We are 7 hours and 18 minutes into this 8-hour event.
John Miller way deep on the brakes to the inside of turn number 1 and 2. The spin, the 3 car gets turned around in front of the car.
James Howden looking for a place to go, but he's got Austin Cobb to the inside. A bit of a gap behind. I think that's about 15th or 16th spot as they come out of turn 3. Big slide over this.
Getting a run. He's got it. Going to be a drag racing line. Final corner. Checkered flag waving. Here they come. At Virginia National Raceway. To the line. Thompson, Darling, door to door. Banging doors. Fender to fender. I can't believe what we just saw.
After the tight and twisty streets that was Long Beach, California, we head over to the countryside of Elkhart, Wisconsin. We're going to be blasting through nice, open, wide straightaways. I'm sure you guys are going to have a lot more fun with that than the tight corners of Long Beach here for the SCRS Super Trofeo Series, brought to you by LazyRocket. My name is Findy Kuna, here with Eric Mickey. And Eric, glad to have you in the booth with me once again.
Yes, glad to have this little bit of a reunion since the last time we got together. It's always fun when you and I can come up here and play with Kyle the adult away.
And you can see on the side, America's National Park of Speed, and these guys are going to have a blast down these straightaways. Speaking of which, let's go through a track map of Road America. Heading down, blasting down to turn number 1. It's going to be a very tricky corner, especially on the opening lap. These guys got to be a little bit careful with each other, close side by side. Then through turns 2 and 3, and then heading down to turn 5, which we saw a lot of chaos at in the SCRS Ferrari Challenge races we had a little while back. Then through 6 and 7, and then into the carousel.
After you get out of the carousel, you got a little short burst before you get into the kink down the back straight, and that's going to be a difficult corner. You don't want to be side by side, and it's going to be a place that is going to be critical to setting up passes down in Canada corners. If anyone goes wide, gets a little bit in the dirt, slows them up a little bit. Could be. We have seen major wrecks there happen before, plenty of times, all over iRacing there. But you go down into Canada corner, one of the best passing opportunities, before a quick little right-hand corner, and then a left that's kind of, you're climbing uphill, can very easily clip too much of the curbing or find yourself off track and on the grass to the right. There's even a bump that can sometimes upset the car, so you got to be careful with that before swinging it back over to the left-hand side of the track to set up for the final corner and get as good a run off that final corner as you can, because it's a long straightaway and it's an uphill climb, a very, very tall climb up the hill to the start-finish line.
Yeah, as you can see, qualifying already underway here for Super Trofeo, and at the top of the board, it's no surprise really here. DJ Alessandrini up near the top of the charts, and by practice standards, he was up there by a decent margin. Not as much of a margin here in qualifying.
Yeah, it looks like he's got just over 2/10 here in qualifying over Maxwell Brown. Maxwell Brown just started racing with us a few weeks ago, and he's really proven himself as someone who could potentially get up there and be a main factor in the pro divisions here. Alessandrini looking for his 4th pole in as many races and capping it off with a 4th win in as many races. He's been absolutely dominant in this Super Trofeo series and prototypes that we'll see later on tonight, but definitely looking to continue that tonight. But there's a little bit of a wrinkle introduced for this round and for the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll actually bring it up here, some keys to the race, and put it right there near the top. A new invert. Top 8 positions in qualifying are going to be inverted, not before they get a little bit of compensation for their efforts. Pole was going to get 8 points all the way down to 1 point for 8th place, so there's still the incentive to qualify well, and you can see everyone on still pushing as hard as they can as usual, but that means DJ is going to be, more likely DJ is going to be put back in 8th place. He's going to have a little bit of work to do to get himself potentially back to the front if he can make it there. There's some really tough competitors, notably Zach Buchanan, who's not put down a time yet. He's actually working through the last few corners now.
Yeah, Buchanan's been DJ's probably closest competition throughout the first few weeks here, and Buchanan's just looking for that little bit of an edge to climb that little bit of a gap that he's been behind DJ to really take the fight to him in this invert tonight and for the rest of the season. That could really play a different role in how these races play out. But plenty of time, 25 minutes, 12 laps around here is going to be plenty of time for anyone to overcome that invert, as long as they keep it clean. Talk about that slipstream as another one of the keys to the race. It's interesting to note that this is the first time in this season, and even if you go back to when we ran Ferrari Challenge and Porsche Cup and Ferrari Challenge before that, over the last year, we're in the medium downforce iRacing fixed setup. This is a fixed setup series, and tonight we're on the medium downforce setup. So the slipstream may be a little bit hampered compared to what these drivers have been used to, as we typically run the higher downforce setups. But be interesting to see if we see a little less of the slipstream today than we were expecting. But if anything, we know we're at Road America, and it's going to be a factor no matter what.
Yeah, and I definitely think, as you mentioned, it's going to be a reduced effect. We see Maxwell Brown currently sitting on pole, was able to take that away from DJ Alessandrini. DJ's still out there putting some laps down. Do these guys have more than 2 laps available? I didn't get a chance to check.
They have up to 4, but considering the amount of time it takes to get around the track, I imagine most drivers are going to get either 2 or 3. I don't think that they're going to be able to get all 4 under their belt. So, yeah, we got about 90 seconds left, and DJ is not on pole, which is not something we're used to seeing this season.
And even for Zach, and sorry, just to cut you off, even for Zach again, he has not put out a time yet. He's got 1 more lap. His last lap was dirty, and it was also fairly slow too, a 9.6. I think he had an off somewhere, so he's got to hope that this lap counts. Otherwise, he's gonna be starting back in 26th.
This lap has to count. He just comes through Canada corner, and this lap has to count because when the timer runs out, unlike in real world racing or in other certain types of sessions that you can set up on iRacing, the qualifying just stops when the clock reaches 0, so you don't get to finish your lap if you're on one like most people are used to seeing. So Buchanan really needs to make this one count, and Alessandrini comes around, gets the pole away from Maxwell Brown, who was in the pits. 2nd through 6th, they're all sitting in pit lane, so that looks like he's going to do it for Alessandrini on the top of the board with over 3/10 of a lead on 2nd place. Buchanan looks like he's gone 7th place.
Yeah, so he was able to actually get a solid time in, so that's actually going to help him quite a bit. Again, I'm not entirely sure if he planned it that way, but he's going to be starting 2nd when we get the invert done.
There was some fair enough talk about. There was some talk about whether or not you could do much to manipulate qualifying and what it would take to get that done. I can't see that as something that Zach would have targeted and been able to pull off. Seems a little bit of a stretch for me, but I think the invert is definitely going to help him.
Yeah, we'll cut away here as you get these guys set up for gridding here at Road America. Again, really looking forward to this race. While we mentioned the last race is a little chaotic, it was still a blast to watch these guys race around here. And again, we were talking about the slipstream. It is going to be interesting to see with going from a high downforce to a medium downforce setup, if that's going to be a huge difference. I think it's definitely going to probably prevent these guys from getting a massive run, but I think it's going to be especially important if you have a guy that's faster than you to just stick in behind his slipstream. It'll keep you up near him. I think you're definitely going to have to probably work a little bit harder than maybe before rather than just relying on the slipstream down the straightaways to make a move happen.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of work to get that done.
Yeah,
looking at the grid, I don't think that it went the way it was supposed to.
No, it did. I see Jake Johansson in first, Zach Buchanan second, and I have DJ all the way back in 8th.
Oh, I saw a black car with red
hoverboards,
and
they
automatically cut DJ at the front.
Yeah,
that was my bad.
Extremely similar.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was my bad. Just a little bit of eyes playing tricks on me. It wouldn't be unheard of to see Alessandrini and Buchanan starting on the front row, but anyway, looks like everything's gone off without a hitch, and looks like they're on the full pace lap, so going to be a little bit before we get going here.
Well, that's good because we got a grid to walk through. So I'm trying to find the button here. I'm still trying to get used to this ticket. There we go. Here we go. On pole, or who was qualified for first place, is DJ Alessandrini, and then next to him, Maxwell Brown in second. Carter Kundinger qualified in third, with Mo Islam in fourth.
Yeah, remember these guys will be inverted, so they'll be 8th through 6th, and then we got Matt Waldbaum and Mike Leader, who've qualified 5th and 6th, Zach Buchanan and Jake Johansson, who qualified 7th and 8th, but they will be starting on the front row. From here on out, Kyle Lamb and Brian DeVries in the next row, and then Ryan Plord and Corey Bunch, they'll be starting exactly where you've seen them on this starting lineup.
Yeah, moving on back to 13, we find Brian Shabelsky and Egon Farrell in the 14th position. Derek Roveld in 15th, with Ryan Kish in 16th. Andrew Mickey starting in 17th. Ryan Cladwell in 18th, with Eric Brown 19th. And Harry Grindell starting in 20th.
Got Thomas Morse coming in on the next row with Sarah Tessum to his outside. And James Miller following Thomas Morse. And Cody Meadows behind Sarah Tessum.
And rounding out your last few rows, Jeffrey Fisher rounding out in 25th, Kerry Conyu in 26th, and Murphy Nichols all the way in the back in 27th. I imagine that Nichols didn't put a qualifying time down. That's never really seen him that far back, but that will be your starting lineup of 27 Lamborghini Huracans here at Road America, still working through this pace lap. You weren't kidding when it was long. Still got some stuff to go through. We'll take a look at the weather for the race here. Looking at air temp 78 degrees, track temp 84. Nice and cool for these guys. You got a lot of grip to work with. They're going to need, especially through corner like the carousel here. And Also, take
Yeah,
another
this
look
is-
at our keys to the race. Looking at, again, talk about that new invert with the top 8 being inverted. Turn number 5, we saw it be a little bit chaotic in the past. Do you think it's going to be as chaotic for this race?
I want to say no. I want to hope no. But as we've been talking about the slipstream, which is our third key to the race, like that's going to be, you're going downhill at that point. It's very long straightaway. So people are going to be looking to set up in complete passes in turn 5. So I would imagine that if we're going to see any problems tonight, turn 5 is going to be one of the places we see them.
Again, this is Finny Nakuna and Eric Mickey bringing to you round number 4 of the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Series, brought to you by LazyRocket. Here's the field working through Canada corner here, and then they'll be taking the green flag here. Looking forward to seeing this one kick off, especially with that invert. DJ back in 8th position. Zach Buchanan's got a front row seat. We'll see what we can do with it. It's Project 2 first. Sorry, no, that's not. I thought there were 2 Project 2 cars there for a second. It's Jake Johansson and Zach Buchanan sharing that front row. And also interesting to see what Jake Johansson could do. Saw a lot of promise in him out of Ferrari Challenge, but I don't think ever got to the winner's circle, not that I recall.
I don't know either, but I can tell you with this invert, I'm really excited to see what's about to take place as we're starting to head up the hill here to go green.
Here we go, slowly working our way up the hill. Marshall with the flag in hand. Field blasting down, and we're ready to go green here at Road America.
See how they get all through turn 1. You got the leader by himself, but 3 rows of 2x2 behind him.
And heading down into turn 1, it's going to be Jake Johansson leading down, Zach Buchanan, Mike Leader, your top 3 going on through. I think I saw Waldblum into the grass for a little bit as they head now to turn 3.
It's going to be a little bit for me to get used to the new car numbers and drivers and paint schemes up here, because I'm usually out there competing, or at least just looking for the wreck. So a little bit of apologies if I get some names wrong as we go ahead in this race. But it looks like Buchanan's going to be the first to make a move down into turn 5 for the lead.
Indeed he does, and it looks like Johansson's going to yield that spot to him. So Zach Buchanan, your new leader, Waldblum and Carter Kundinger side by side. Kundinger in the grass just a little bit, still side by side into turn 5. This is, into turn 6. This is really tricky, this corner, very tight and narrow. These guys still side by side, neither wanting to give an inch.
No, they're still going. That's a really difficult corner to go side by side. You see, is that Waldblum going off into the grass. Pass attempt for second place.
And Leader deep into the corner. I thought he was going to completely wipe out Johansson, but they kept it on through now through the carousel.
First time through the carousel. These tires are not going to be up to temperature. They're going to have a little bit of problem getting the grip that they want through here. But it looks like most of the field has been able to manage it just all right. First time through the kink. One of the most dangerous places on the track. Don't want to see anybody 2x2 going through here.
No, at least not on the opening lap. Maybe once the tires get a little
off
bit
into the grass, somebody just was, and that's where things can go really bad. But it looks like they were able to save it and escape.
Carter Kundinger, sorry, that's Maxwell Brown looking at, sitting in behind Waldblum. Carter Kundinger up ahead, and DJ Alessandrini sitting in 5th place. Already gone up about 3 spots from where he started. And he's trying to pick them off one by one. Woo! Oh, Kundinger a little bit sideways. And another position for DJ Alessandrini potentially here as they blast up the hill.
Very important, the most dangerous lap of the race. Everyone seems to have gotten through very cleanly. If there were any incidents, they were not huge and did not make too much noise back there. So glad to see everybody come through as we have an attack for position heading into 1.
Woo. That was very tight quarters between Maxwell Brown and Matt Waldblum fighting for position, and a little bit of a bump. Maxwell Brown moves himself up into 6th place, so 1 up. Waldblum looks like he's dropping from 4th all the way back to 7th, just is not getting up to speed as quick. And even Mo Islam in behind, he's licking his chops. He wants another spot.
Yeah, you may want to move that camera up to DJ Alessandrini as they're going into turn 5, and he's trying to make passes here on 2 cars, almost taking it 3 wide. Leader gets a spot on Johansson.
Oh, and Mo Islam around in turn 5. He's going to get off the track. We're still going to look at this side by side for position. No one's still giving it inch through turn 6. Now through turn 7. Alessandrini going to get the spot over Leader. Carter Kundinger filing in line. He wants another spot back. Will he look at Leader? Indeed, he's going to pull out to the inside in turn 8.
Really impressed I mean, so far, and maybe that's making it sound like things are worse than they actually are, but the moves these guys are making are not the moves that we've been used to seeing them, particularly last time we were here a couple months ago in the Ferraris. The moves that everyone is making, as we see, is
Ryan
the 77 Ryan Kish off. But the moves everyone's making are very clear, very decisive. No one's being hesitant, and drivers who are getting past are allowing it to happen respectfully. So that's good to see. I think we're going to be in for a good night of racing here if that's what we see from these guys all night.
Yeah, DJ taking the wide way around. Gonna blast around Jake Johansson before they even get to the final corner. Now even Leader licking his chops to the inside of Johansson, loses 2 spots in 2 corners, and maybe another one here. Carter Kundinger on the attack and behind.
Yeah, and you mentioned he was showed a lot of promise in the Ferraris. I'm not quite sure what it is about these Lamborghinis that maybe is just not fitting his style of driving, but he hasn't really been as impressive in these as he has in the Ferraris. But here comes Carter Kundinger looking on him on the inside for turn 1.
3 corners, Jake Johansson loses 3 spots. He's probably doesn't want to lose another one. I imagine that's not going to be too well for him. I think he's going to try to keep Maxwell Brown sitting in behind, but some
Brown
up.
dives in below him. I think Johansson had to check up a little bit, being in line the way that he was, and Brown just pounced. As we see a car off behind, a red and black car. I believe that's another AOD racing car.
That is Ryan Plord in the 74 machine, trying to see if he got damage to that car. I think he's fine. Indeed,
the Wichita SCCA racing team for Ryan Plord, teammates with Eric Brown.
And speaking of the other Brown, Maxwell Brown, is there a relation between these two?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Maxwell Brown, he blows past Jake Johansson. Johansson back to 6. This has not been a last good half a lap from 2nd all the way back to 6th place. People have just been taking advantage of Johansson. He's not been really able to do much with it. Let's take a look back further in the field. Still some good battles going on. Kyle Lamb trying to work around
big
Walmart.
Battle back here between Andrew Mickey for AM and all these AM drivers. Andrew Mickey, Brian Zabelski. Now they're 3 wide going into the kit. Oh, why would they do that?
Why would they do
Andrew,
that?
No.
There's still double file heading towards the kink. Oh, one driver's going to go
the grass.
off.
That was never going to work. Harry Grindell coming back on track. Everyone else able to get by just fine.
That was
off my breath there for a second.
Yeah, that was a hair raiser. I don't blame you. Take a look back here at what happened. This is how this all started. I mean, you really am curious to see how this all this chaos kicked off. So here they are side by side heading into turn 8. And a few guys missed the corner, checked everyone up, and then you can see as they go through the bridge, Andrew with the opportunistic move was 3 wide for a second. That could have been absolutely chaotic.
That's just what Andrew does.
Back up front, we'll give you a little bit of check-in. There's Zach Buchanan, 3.5 seconds up the road from DJ Alessandrini. He's now trying to take the remaining 9 laps and chase that 40 car back down. We'll see if he can get it done. Carter Kundinger now working on the back of Mike Leader. This is a battle for 3rd place. This top 5 is really solid. They've not stopped battling once since we had the drop of the green flag.
No, I'm thinking we have up at the lead here. You got Zach Buchanan still hanging on to the lead. 5 seconds over DJ Alessandrini, which is pretty impressive. I kind of thought once Alessandrini got to 2nd place, you would see that gap close pretty quickly. But it looks like Buchanan's on pace here today and has something for him.
Yeah, a big train of cars in behind Farrell in the 266. There you see Andrew Mickey, Brian Chabelski, Sarah Tessum, Ryan Cladwell, Jeffrey Fisher, and Harry Grindell, just to name a few, all in this train of cars. Oh, and Leader, I think, just had an off. See if you can take a look at what happened to him. See if he can make his move up in the all-white Lamborghini. Looks like Trading Paint is struggling to load for him.
I think, well, he's got the right number boards on, so I'm thinking maybe his car, he just went with an all-white car, just to confuse us.
Yeah, I guess, hopefully, maybe, I'm still amazed that people like to run without sponsors, but that's just me. I guess people like that look. Looking up the order, though, Maxwell Brown trying to chase down Carter Kundinger. Teammates, right, these guys are teammates, but part
Grindell off out of one of the final corners, the last left-hander on the track.
Oh!
I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if he collected anybody else, but there's...
Cody Meadows. in
Cody Meadows
the
off track.
04.
Might have been related to Grindel's incident.
Let's see here, Harry Grindel, and you said this is in the final corner?
Yeah, right between Canada and the final corner. So it's on that left-hander. It looked like Grindel just kind of lost it.
And here they are heading to Canada corner, went off the track, and they stayed it on here. And then I think it's this next part that you're talking about, side by side with another car. Oh, just got loose.
Yeah, just loses it. Loses the rear end a little bit, and
Cody
not
Meadows.
really sure. Maybe he clipped the grass on the right-hand side of the track and just shot him across and off into the grass. But they both resume racing.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I'm telling you, this battle back here between Zabelski, Sarah Tessum, and the 744 or the 144 of Ryan Caldwell is pretty hectic here, and they're racing for 4th place in the AM drivers out here on track right now.
Yeah, that's one thing we didn't really cover. Is the finally we've had the pro and am. Is it pro and pro am or pro and am?
Pro and am.
Okay, so the pro and am split for these guys after the first 3 rounds. They've decided on a ranking based on skill level for a pro and am champion, as they've done in SCRS for many years now. So we have these guys all with the yellow nameplates. That's the wrong example. There we go. Andrew Mickey with the yellow number plates are all AM drivers. The guys with the red ones, such as Zach Buchanan, DJ Alessandrini, with the red one. So that's the way you can distinguish between those 2 classes of drivers. And speaking of which, Zach Buchanan, that gap falling slowly.
It is falling slowly, and Buchanan is just wanting these last 7 laps that as he's about to tick over the line to go by as quickly as possible. Right now, Alessandrini is still probably out of range for the draft to be doing too much of the work here, but as that gap continues to close down, it's going to close down even quicker once he's able to take advantage of the slipstream effect.
Yeah, and both
leading our AM drivers is Kyle Lamb in 7th place.
Yeah, and doing really well for himself in that spot. You can see him behind Mike Leader. He's trying to work his way up the order. Almost got into Mo Islam there. That was really close. Or sorry, that's not
if you're
Mo Islam.
confused about the blue on Mike Leader's car, that is Mike Leader with the blue, I believe. Yep. He's also an AM competitor. That is what the AM drivers had on their cars for the first 3 weeks, and that's just a holdover for this week.
Yeah, the 38's a different driver, not Mo Islam in the 38 machines. I do apologize to that. Running in 9th place, Brian DeVries worked his way up to 10th, is now trying to gain a spot on these 2 drivers up ahead. Jake Johansson, I saw he's lost, has he lost another spot?
He's running 6th. I feel like that's about where we left him.
And behind Matt Waldblum, I think was really close to getting past. I saw the gap go to 0, so I think these guys got really close to passing one another, riding on in behind Matt Waldblum.
And something had happened to Corey Bunch because he was racing right behind Kyle Lamb and as 1-2 in the AM drivers, and now he's down to 16th. So I'm not sure what happened to him, but I'm guessing he must have gone off track at one point and lost a lot of track position.
Yeah, there's some big damage if you look off the nose of Ryan Flord. You can see big damage to the back of that 93 car. It's kind of hard to see. It's a little cloudy at the moment, but there's some damage to the right rear of that machine, so I imagine that might have something to do with his drop in position. Gonna check back in with that AM battle. I think it's kind of diffused itself. Andrew Mickey breaking away from Sarah Tessum, Cladwell, and Fisher. We'll kind of dispersed away from one another.
Yeah, they've calmed down back here a little bit. So for AM, it looks like it's Kyle Lamb and Mike Leader as 1st and 2nd, and then Andrew Mickey in 12th place is actually the 3rd placed AM car. So I'm sure when he gets out of the car and realizes that if he's able to hold on to this, that he's going to be happy with that. But that gap, let's check in that gap between Buchanan and Alessandrini. It's under 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, he's been ticking off 5 to 6 tenths of a second every single lap. So it's just a matter of time before he catches up to Zach Buchanan. And I wouldn't say necessarily passing. Catching is one thing, passing is another thing. We always say it. So I was curious to see what Dita is going to do when he gets to Buchanan. Buchanan just really can only just get his head down and try to drive the best race he can and not look in his mirror too much with Alessandrini closing in.
Yeah, this is 2 AOD cars from different teams. They're under the same AOD Racing banner, but one is from AOD Red and the other is from AOD White. like there was a little contact there between Brown and Kundinger.
Yeah, this is heading into turn number 5. This is the move. There you see Brown pulling out to the inside of Kundinger, and Kundinger turned in expecting the car not to be there, and sure enough, Brown was there, and they resumed back in the order they went into that corner.
So, as I was just about to get at, you know, when you're looking at the battle and the closing gap between Buchanan and Alessandrini, this track is maybe the most fair in terms of the ability to make passes but also defend. So just because Alessandrini gets to Buchanan, I don't think it means that the pass is going to be done, you know, very quickly. It's going to take some work from Alessandrini. Buchanan's going to be defending the preferred lines, and you can really hold somebody up and even defend for multiple laps if you're able to hit your marks the way you need to. But even after the pass takes place, if it indeed does, Buchanan's still going to be able to take advantage of that slipstream to stay with him and fight back. So this race is far from over. I think we're going to see at least one, maybe multiple more passes for the lead.
Whoa!
Oh, Tassum off track in the dirt.
Was riding on board with Ryan Cladwell, who will get the spot. Tassum out in the dirt, as you mentioned. Going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 spots back to Shabelski. Shabelski not able to get on by. But Tassum, after having a decent race, is going to lose out on some points here unless you can get back in the action and get back up there. Still, it hasn't lost too much time, just lost a lot of spots, though.
Yeah, just those slight mistakes. You see that all the time here at Road America. Just very easy to find yourself in the grass and in the dirt. And this is a battle for the top spot in our AM drivers between Kyle Lamb and Mike Leader.
Yeah, and just to pretend that the blue number board is supposed to be yellow, these guys, as you mentioned, are fighting for the AM lead, and here goes Leader's going to have a great run down to turn 5, so the draft's definitely still there, but you have to pull outside and then pretty much hope for the best here. These guys are going to be pretty much side by side. Who's going to get on the brakes later? It looks like it's going to be Lamb. Does he make the corner? Indeed he does. Leader with the over-under, though, can't quite get the run off the corner as he would like. He's going to maybe have a nose.
Shove it in there. Lamb leaves room, but he's got it. He got it in the next corner. Oh, and Leader's under attack from the car behind. Is that Islam?
Yep, indeed it is. Islam now no, sorry, Rovo.
No, Rovo.
Keep making
they all have the same cars. You can't blame us.
Oh, almost looked like he was about to just point the back of Leader. Just got off of him here as he head through the carousel. Whoa, still very close quarters. Wow.
It's when I'm wanting one of those video game things where you have the name hovering above the cars to better identify these guys.
Would be helpful in this situation. I'm sure Roel's going to look back at this. He's going to be disappointed. He's thinking, oh, my teammate's all the way back in. Where's Mo? Back in 21st. And we've been confusing for him all this time.
To be fair, this is usually Islam's position. Not really sure what went on with Islam earlier in this race to find him back in the field like that, but
you can see they're started in 5th. Yeah. It's not been a good race. Has some rear end damage. Imagine at an off at some point. Might have had assistance. Looking back up to our leaders.
Battle here between AM drivers, the 70 and the 93. Bunch. Bunch has damage on the rear of his car, so he definitely had a crash. Not even just an off that all that time.
Yeah, you are.
These guys are all over each other.
Yeah, I'll take a look at this before coming back up to the fight for the overall lead, because these guys are all in one big, I guess you can say, bunch. had to do it. Scotty Bunch is running in the middle of that in 17th, and here you see Tyler Tessum, and there you see also Jeffrey Fisher, I believe, is the car pulling out to make a move. Nope, that was not. That was Harry Grindell in the 70. He's going to barely miss the corner, and it's going to be Fisher that goes back up the inside. Sarah Tessum also going to make a move.
This is exactly the type of racing Road Atlanta is loved for. I mean, Road America. I mean, Road Atlanta too, but Road America is where we're at, so I guess I should say that one.
Yeah, up ahead also side-by-side action here for 3rd place. The teammates going at it again. You see Carter Kundinger out in the grass, and it's going to be Maxwell Brown that moves up the spot. Meanwhile, up for the lead. If you haven't cued the Jaws music, cue it now, because here's Allison Rooney looking for a spot.
Only 4 laps to go. They're coming around. There's going to be 3 laps to go if Buchanan can hang on, and I think that's about as best you could ask for at the start of this race, knowing he was starting on first. Oh, crash! In the back. Out of Canada? No. I'm trying to think what corner they're
in. Out of turn 6. Yeah. Oh, and that's Jeffrey Fisher spinning in front of that group of cars. We're watching a bunch and another car involved as well. I almost want to say it was Shabelski. I don't think so. It was Shabelski that was involved in that. So this few cars getting damage out of that. Meanwhile, back up to that battle actually broke out a little bit, back to 0.4 of a second. Alessandrini is now going to have to get down and get his hands dirty to make that final pass.
So I think this is the best situation that Buchanan could have hoped for, that Alessandrini is only going to have 3 laps now that he's on him to even try to attempt the pass. And if Buchanan hits his marks the way he is supposed to and just doesn't let himself get outbraked by Alessandrini here on any of these big heavy braking zones, then Buchanan could very easily hold off for this win, but it's going to take a lot of perfect execution on his part to make it happen.
This is going to be some good stuff here. Don't go anywhere in the next 6 or so minutes, because this is where the action's going to be at here, near the front of the field, blasting down to turn number 5. Alessandrini in the slipstream. Is he going to pull out to the right side? Indeed he is, side by side for the lead into turn 5. Who's going to be braver on the brakes? Both of them pretty much braking at the same time. Buchanan going to make his way on through. Alessandrini can't do the over-under.
Yeah, it looks like I thought he was going to try the over-under, but it looks like Alessandrini himself carried too much speed through that corner to make that happen. We did have a pass for the lead in the AM driver category, with Mike Leader now taking 7th place away from Kyle Lamb for 1st in the AM category, with, I believe, it'll be Andrew Mickey still in 12th, who is the 3rd place driver in the AM class.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that in a second as soon as these guys separate, which I honestly don't think is going to happen anytime soon.
Just set your cameras to follow these guys, because it's going to be some fireworks probably for these last few laps here, 2.5 laps or so, as they head towards the kink, and this is going to be setting up for Canada Corner. What Buchanan needs to do, and just like he did, get through there perfectly. Don't drop a wheel in the grass. Don't cost yourself any momentum heading into Canada Corner, one of the heaviest braking zones on this circuit.
Yeah, it just seems that they're carrying too much speed, that Alessandrini can't quite get the run he would like through the kink. Oh, you got a great run out of Canada Corner all over the back of Buchanan now.
Again, just didn't get his car turned through that right-hander the way that he needed to. Will he do it here, and who's going to have the edge coming off? Good exit from Buchanan. I don't think he's close enough. Alessandrini's close enough to draft to him to attempt to pass on turn 1 here, but he's flashing his lights. Hopefully Eric Brown will move himself out of the way here.
Yeah, I think that's what he's really trying to signal. Is like, hey, please move out of the way. I'm in an important battle here. Doesn't want any outside influence in this. That's what he's hoping for. Hopefully Eric Brown gets the message across. We saw a lap car be a deciding factor in the race last week at Long Beach for the Prototype Challenge division, changing the outcome of race 2. Arguably changing the outcome of race 2 with Mitch Welker getting involved.
Buchanan, I think, dropped a wheel there. It's going to hurt his momentum down this straight down into turn 5. He's going to have to defend here.
And Eric Brown going to peel over to let these guys on by. Here comes Alessandrini. Whoa! Almost gets into Buchanan, trying to get a little bit of side draft off him. Here they go into turn 5 for the second time. Whoa!
Oh, no!
And just like that, Buchanan puts a wheel deep, comes bouncing over the curb, and Alessandrini up into 1st. That might have been all there.
See if Buchanan can bounce back and stay with him through the slipstream, but just cut that corner a little bit too much, got on the dirt. This has got sideways, and that allowed Alessandrini to come through as we saw a car off onto the right. It looked like they ended their day.
It was looking like Buchanan, all he had to do, pretty much had to do, was not make a mistake and made one crucial. That might have completely changed the outcome here. He's going to have to switch into the attack. I'm sure he was pretty much in a defensive mode up until this point, and now got to find some way around Alessandrini here with a lap and a half left in this race.
He's got to do better than he did in getting through Canada Corner last time by, or Alessandrini's going to drive away from him.
Was a little hot into Canada Corner. I thought he was going to get sideways again, but he's going to keep it going in the right direction here through the final few corners.
I'm going to get the white flag. He's going to have to get close to him down this front stretch to have a shot.
Ooh, gets a really nice run out of the line, but Alessandrini got a pretty decent run himself.
I think Buchanan got a little bit slight of a better one. DJ kind of missed the apex that you really want to hit, but there's room there to make that error and still get decent speed. Buchanan has a huge run on DJ going down into turn 1. I don't think he's going to be able to make an attempt here.
No, I think he's going to wait for turn 5, if not Canada corner on the backstretch. I think that's going to be his best opportunities here. Now, he has to head through turn 2 and hit turn 3 perfectly. He needs to get a great run off. Alzerini looks like he's maybe backing up the corner, trying to make sure he gets a good run off.
That's exactly, I think, Alessandrini, we've seen that from him before in other competition here on the SimTV network. And I think Kyle Lamb has major damage, so he's wrecked again. He just got punted by Flord. We'll keep it with the lead, maybe get a chance to go back and see what happened with Lamb later. But right now, this is all about the win. And DJ misses the corner there.
Yeah, put a wheel off, but crucially still holds on to that lead. Buchanan not really able to make too much of an opportunity out of it. These guys nose to tail here through turn 6, now through turn 7. We'll see what they can do now heading to turn 8. Does Buchanan have any sort of run to try to make a move into the braking zone? He does not. And that pretty much leaves one major opportunity left here, and they're coming up to it.
He's got to get the run of his life off of the... He gets sideways, I think. It could be just the camera angle.
Yeah, it might have just been the camera angle. I think he's also just pushing that hard. Going to almost dip a wheel off coming out of the carousel. And here they go flying on through the kink for the final time in the Lamborghinis. Up and over the curves, trying to build up a run.
Don't know that he's close enough. It would have to take something big to make anything happen.
Here they go into Canada corner for the final time. Buchanan deep on the brakes, trying to close the gap. Is going to miss the corner, or at least going to get a poor run off the corner. And I think that might be all she wrote right here. Through the final few corners, Alessandrini, he's got open sky ahead of him just to make it on through. Into the final corner now. One last attempt for Buchanan. He's going to try to hit it perfectly. It's not going to be good enough. And across the crest, above the hill, DJ Alessandrini is going to come home. He's going to win the race ahead of Buchanan. Buchanan is going to have to unfortunately settle for second place after looking like he had a really solid shot. And you can see the frustration just turning into the wall. He's mad at himself.
He's not going to be happy that he lost that so late in the race. But Alessandrini just executed the way that he needed to. Got it done even after having the disadvantage of being put back to 8th. Mike Leader looks like he's going to be the next one across the line to take the win in the AM division. And Andrew Mickey is now going to move up to 10th place over the last couple laps to come home second for your AM drivers, with Ryan Caldwell third. And looking down the line, Kyle Lamb actually ends this race in the pits. So not the race he wanted from leading the AM category to finishing in pit lane.
You can see the damage to that car. Well, I'm gonna probably try to take a look at it. Actually, we'll see if we can take a look at it now. Let's see. We'll try to do it a little bit here before we cut to interviews, just to see what happened, because obviously that flipped the AM race up on its head. But yeah, that was unfortunate for Buchanan, and you can just see the frustration. I don't blame him for being frustrated like that. That was really unfortunate after such a strong run all the entire race. I don't think I saw a single mistake out of him.
No, it was just that one mistake that Buchanan had that let Alessandrini go, and that could have been all that Alessandrini needed to go on and take the win. But I mean, great race between the two of them. Great race between the entire field, really. This was just action-packed all the way through, and looking forward to more of that as we get into the Prototype Challenge here in just a few minutes.
Yeah, and I actually do have the incident popped up in turn 5. I'm just going to say it, a little spoiler alert, turn 5 strikes again. Didn't see as much carnage, nearly as much carnage down there. We saw a few incidents, but nowhere near as bad as, so it was consistently taking drivers out in the Ferrari Challenge race a few months ago. And we'll cut to it here right now. Alright, here we go. This is what happened to Kyle Lamb to take him out of contention. Oops, sorry, I meant to go on the replay one. There we go. And this is the blast down to turn 5. That's Robo that he was side by side with, clipped off the nose of him, went hard into the wall. And that's what took Kyle Lamb out. Let's see if we can get another view of that. Let's see, right on board with Robo, maybe? Who was in behind them? Oh, it's DeVries. Here we go. This will be a good view. See these two guys side by side, almost dooring each other down into turn number 5, and then I don't know, should we try to crowd him? or maybe just thought it was trying to get as much of a line through into turn 5, but unfortunately ended up with his day in the wall. So I think first we'll talk to Maxwell Brown. Maxwell, you got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey man, how's it going? You just had a pretty good fight with your teammate Carter Kundinger. I know guys are not the exact same team, but part of the same organization, but it didn't seem to matter between you two. You guys are going at it.
Yeah, that was that was a really good race between us. We kept it clean, which is really good. He was super quick. So yeah, he made it really hard for me to get past, and then once I got past, he was just all over me, so he didn't really make it easy for me to keep it in front. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and just trying to take a look at, you saw you had a really good run. I'm not sure, where did you finish last week at Long Beach?
Third as well, yeah.
Third, okay. So, with another solid third place finish, do you think you can keep up this momentum, maybe move yourself further up the podium spots?
Yeah, well, hopefully. I hope so, certainly, because I mean, generally, the fast track stuff like this, where it's really ballsy, this is where I struggle. So, I mean, if I can do it here, that gives me confidence that hopefully I can keep this up. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see, because the competition is really, really serious up at the sharp end of the grid.
All right. Well, that was Maxwell Brown, third place finish for him, and best of luck to you for going to next week.
Cool. Thanks.
No problem. Moving on to Zach Buchanan. And Zach, we saw the frustration there after the checkered flag came out. What went wrong for you?
I was struggling with the car all night, I gotta say. I just couldn't, especially on the braking. I just couldn't figure it out. I was trying my best to keep DJ behind me, but he put the pressure on. And after he passed me, I was just doing everything I could to try to keep up with him and get a good run onto one of the straights, but I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised you said it, because it actually looked like you were driving pretty fine. I mean, we knew DJ was catching you. I guess that's where he's making his opportunity, but that was still a really solid drive. I mean, with this new invert format, do you think, obviously it helped you this week, do you think that's going to be the case for the remainder rounds, or do you think it might be more of a hindrance putting yourself back there?
Well, I didn't really intend to start that far back, but it did help me in the first going. But as you could see, it still doesn't really mean that much at the end of the day. The quickest drivers will still make their way to the front. So I'm hoping in the future maybe it could help me a bit more, but we'll see.
We will definitely see, Zach. Thanks for talking to us, and best of luck to you. And last but certainly not least, DJ Alessandrini. Even when you give him an invert, he gets put back there, finds his way near the front some way, somehow. But Zach definitely kept you honest there, didn't he, DJ?
Yeah, it was, sorry if my interview seems distracted. I'm trying to learn the P2 right now. I don't have any practice on it. Yeah, it was, I was just trying to be patient, just not being too aggressive to get through the traffic, and everybody was safe enough. And when I got past him, I had to catch up like a 4-second gap to Zach, and so I knew it was going to be lights out laps for the rest of them, and I was really proud of those laps that I did. And then once I got to him, I kind of noticed that he was driving so on edge that it was only a matter of time till he made a mistake on the brakes. So I kind of drove around him for a couple laps and was waiting for that mistake, and it didn't happen. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to pressure him a little bit and see what happens. And about a lap and a half later, he made the mistake that let me by. So I wasn't really trying to force anything at that moment, but it was getting to the point where I was about to having to start force some stuff and see what would happen. So.
All right, well, either way, you get made your way to the front. I'll keep it short. I'll let you get back to your practicing, DJ. Thanks for talking to us, and best of luck to you.
All right, thanks, guys.
No problem. And with that, it's going to wrap up interviews here for Super Trofeo. A really solid race up near the front. Even throughout the order, we saw some great mixes. Unfortunately, there were too many battles to really keep track of, Eric.
Yeah, that was... I mean, from our perspective, I think that was a pretty great race. We're seeing some different opinions on our Discord chat right here, but we'll, it from our perspective, it looked good. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that was a great race between, for the most part, throughout much of the field, and particularly for that win between DJ and Zach. That was class driving, even if it didn't go the way that Zach wanted to go, and a mistake ended up being the difference maker. But sometimes you're going to get that, and all those drivers, or a lot of them, are going to turn around here and get into the prototype and try to do it just a lot faster.
Yeah, indeed. Really looking forward to seeing that race play out. If you're talking about Slipstream, I think it's going to be a much bigger factor in that race than in here. But for now, it's going to be Finny Nakuna and Eric Mickey from SimTV are going to be signing out for tonight. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you really in a little bit.
Thank you.